Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Good morning. I hope that everything is going uh, well for you. I hope that it's going as planned. And if not, you do have the ability to change it. You are not stuck in any particular situation, no matter what it may seem like at the moment. You do have the ability to impact your life, your situations. What you can't do is allow yourself to be consumed by any given moment. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Even though today is Thursday, normally that's Business Mindset Thursday. I want to talk to you about something that is actually sort of really prevalent in my life and my personal situation as we speak. And I like to be transparent. I have never been a person, while I will tell anybody that anything is possible. I never tried to mislead anyone into believing that it's easy and that everything always falls in line. As a matter of fact, it's in those moments when things don't line up, when they don't fall in line. It's those moments and how you respond to them that determine the depth of your success, the depth of your impact. There are going to be moments when things line up. That's the good times. That's the seed playing out. That's the reward for responding to adversity in the proper and appropriate manner. It's not the result of avoiding or circumventing adversity. It's responding appropriately. And so we're going to talk about that. Look in the description box. I'm not going to go into a great detail. There's some great resources in there, everything from books to being able to work with me directly and change your life. There's a great new course in there called Mastering Money. It is the basic principles on which all people who have achieved a level of financial success have traveled. When I think about financial success, it's not simply the generation of money. A lot of people can generate money, but a lot of people end up who done it broke. Look at professional athletes, look at entertainers, look at people who won the lottery. It's more about understanding money that you have in your hand and what you do with it. And so we're going to talk about how even the most seemingly impossible situation with very little money, where you can find out you can still improve your situation by making the right financial decisions. And these principles are time tested. I'm going to share some personal stories, some personal situations, good, bad, ugly, and tell you how to triumph in those situations and how you triumph in your own situation, no matter where you are. On that note, we're going to move on. Today's title, our topic is "It's okay to be human. Just don't become a victim." And like I said, I like to be transparent. I'm a person that prefers to be positive. I wake up every morning and I prime my mind to be focused on the positive things, the things that I am demanding of myself, the things that I expect of myself, the things that I know that I'm capable of. Not to be uh, unaware of the challenges that I face on any given day, but to focus on the solution instead of being consumed by the problem. But how many people are aware of the fact that Rick Wallace is human? Uh, you don't get a negative version of me very often. I get angry about certain things, how children are treated, how women are treated, and every now and then I'll get on a tangent about marriage. But me being upset about things that are going on with me personally, you don't see that because I manage it. I control it. And but I'm human. I have these things that everyone faces at different level, at different times. Everyone has their challenges. Everyone has their demons. You conquer the things in life that you come up against. You conquer adversity. You conquer disappointment. You conquer your failures. You conquer your mistakes and your poor decision making. You have to conquer it. And that's what I've done. And the things that I've been able to do is because when I face these things, I conquer them. But it doesn't mean that it's not a battle. It doesn't mean that it's not a war being waged in the background. My wife has mentioned this. A couple of my friends have mentioned this. People who are privy to the inner workings of my life and have seen me at different times over the course of the last 30 years stand up to some pretty intense adversity. I've been accused of being in denial. I've been accused of a bunch of things. I'm like, dude, with everything you're going through, how you stand up there smiling, you're in denial. No, I'm not in denial. I know I'm going to win. uh, and there's an internal battle going on. And that's what I want to tell you. It's okay to be human. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to feel. Let me tell you about where I'm at right now without going into too much detail. November was a month from hell. November is never a good month for me because I lost my father on Thanksgiving Day. Uh, and it's been a while, but it never changes. November is dark. I have to find a way to brighten it up. I thank God for my family. I thank God for my kids. I thank God for my grandkids. They bring love and light into my life at a time that darkness is invading. If you knew the impact that my father had on me, now, those of you who know me and know my story know that my father is also my great grandfather biologically. He's my father in spirit. He's my father legally because he adopted me. But he's also biologically my grandmother's father. And so there's this unique relationship between us, and we were extremely close. He played such a major role in who I am, and he was the rock that I leaned on. And when I lost him, I lost a lot, and in certain ways, I never recovered. Um, and so, again, I speak and I share with you, that I'm human, and it's important because people present these images, people who are successful and they make their living off of sharing how they're successful or helping people become successful, tend to paint the image of the success without sharing the process. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and he mentioned something. He's a Christian by faith, and he said, it's amazing how much we talk about the miracles of Jesus and all the things Jesus did in that 3 to 3.5 year span where everybody reads and knows about Jesus, but nobody thinks about the 30 years of preparation that led up to it. And thank you so much, Carlos. Nobody, thinks about the 30 years that it took for him to be prepared, how much prayer went into, how much preparation, how many times he was reminded of who he was, how much he had to put into to just produce that 3.5 years. And if you've ever followed me, you hear about all the time the principle of process. You hear about how much and how important it is that you understand that for to obtain the promise of your potential, to obtain the promise of your relationship with anything or any situation, in order to obtain the promise of what you're capable of, there must first be an endurance of the process. You have to go through a process in order to obtain a promise. You don't just get to pop up and win. And people will present to you the win without ever explaining to you how they prepared for it and what they went through and the hell they had to endure. So I'm sharing with you, November that was not only the month and the reminder. I mean, it's not just it happened in November. It happened on Thanksgiving Day. The day that everyone talks about being thankful is the day that I lost, in my mind, the most powerful and influential man that I've ever known. And it's been years. I mean, this was 1992. So this wasn't yesterday, but I'm telling you, it's new in so many ways. It's still there. I've learned to manage it. I don't have a whole bunch of dark moments throughout the year. I spend time in meditation. I revisit our conversations. I revisit our happy moments, and I revel in the fact that we didn't have many oppositional moments. I can think of one disagreement in the entire time that we had together, that we were not on the same page, and it was a 10-minute disagreement, and it was over. And that's just the respect I had for him and the love and respect he had for me. So that wasn't just it. We started out the month with one of my primary business elements, as well as one of my primary social platforms and revenue generators. My primary channel on YouTube being taken down, thousands and thousands of subscribers, millions of views, channel taken down for nothing. Well, that had a massive impact that cascaded, because it impacts so many different things. It's not just a social platform, it's a revenue generator. It's not just a revenue generator, it's a place where I can go specifically to share information and target and get things out that I need to get out, and then it gets out. It was also a syndicated channel, so it was other channels that were impacted because it was being syndicated by a couple of different media groups and pushed out. It had we're still feeling the ripples. Okay, but we're not done. Then I end up in the hospital for 4 days with another life-threatening thing, something that was tied to me being in the hospital in 2016. Something that we've obviously got to work on, and I've got to take even more serious. So all this is happening in November. And so now we're trying to come out of that, and we're trying to get back to where we were with all these different things. And again, I have to remind myself that I'm human, and it's okay to be human. What I will never be is a victim. And that's what I want to encourage you. See, the difference between a person that's the victor and the victim is real simple. The victim doesn't see how they can impact change. To the victim, life is happening to them and it's completely out of their control. To the person who decides they're going to be a victor, they see the same problems, the same difficulties, the same situations, but they know that they can make a difference in it, that they're going to be able to impact it, to influence it, to change it. And that's the difference. You're going to have some times that you're just not going to feel up to it. You're going to have some times that you're feeling down. You're going to have some times that you're looking up and saying, what in the hell is happening? You have to look within yourself and know that inside of you, regardless of what you're going through, there is something that you can do to change it. You have to know that inside of yourself, there's something you can do that will address this. And there are sometimes you won't have the answer at the moment that you're dealing with it. And I've shared this with you before. That's the time that when I'm looking at it and it's big and it's huge and it's consuming, and I sit up and I say, I refuse to fold. I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to fall into a place of anxiety, fear, and frustration. And so I go into the restroom, turn the light on, look myself in the mirror, take a very hard, long stare, and then I remind myself, and I simply look at myself and say, you're built for this. I don't care what it is, you're built for it. At that moment, I don't need to know how I'm going to overcome it. I simply need to know that I'm equipped and that I will. A lot of times we're trying to figure out the how. And when we are trying to figure out the how, if we can't come up with the how, we give up. Because I don't know the how doesn't mean that it's not possible. It means that I must first commit to it. And there's an old quote by William Hutchinson Murray that talks about, it is not until you make the commitment that true providence reveals itself. It's the hand of providence comes after the commitment. It comes after you sit up and say, I don't know how, but I am. See, you got to have some confidence and conviction about who you are. You got to have some confidence and conviction about what you're capable of. And you can't rest your confidence and your conviction in your situations or your circumstances. You can't rest your confidence and your convictions in the assessments of other people, because there are going to be some people that are watching what you're going through and hoping you fail so that they can prove you were never who you said you were. There are some people that literally are going to get the only satisfaction they're going to have for the year by your hiccups, by the things that push you back a little bit, by the things you go through. It's a shame that when, I'm not real big at sharing stuff. Not that I want people to think that my life is just always grand, but to me, my life is always grand. Not because I don't have problems, not because I don't accumulate failures. I do. The reason I accumulate failures is I don't set the bar way down here where it's comfortable. I set the bar way up here where sometimes I'm just simply going to miss, and I'm okay with that. But I will have given it everything I have and gotten everything out of the situation, and I would be a lot further along than if I set the bar way down here and then got what I had to get, but didn't even come close to touching the tip of my potential. I won't do that. But see, okay, but I don't post a lot of that because people read it wrong and people are looking for it. And my wife has always wanted, everybody don't need to know everything, Rick. And so when I went into the hospital in November, it was serious, and it's still serious. We're talking about neurological and cardiovascular issues. Nothing that can't be fixed, nothing that's worked. It's nothing irreversible, but it's severe. It's life threatening. And I go in, and the thing is, people are going to be looking for what I do here and here and here. And this happens literally 2 days after they've taken the channel. So here comes the next thing. And we haven't even gotten to coming up on Thanksgiving, where I started to think about and miss my grandfather, which always goes into December, because December was, the holidays where the family always, came together, and my grandfather was always the patriarch and center of the family. And so this whole end of the year, but the beauty of it was also that my grandparents' anniversary was December 18th. Well, that's when I married my wife. I wanted that to commemorate and honor them. And so that's going to be the thing that normally like snatches me back, because I've got this unbelievably beautiful and powerful and strong and committed and loyal woman in my corner. And so, that's what I always had said. When I went through my divorce, I said the next time I get married, I'm getting married on December the 18th instead of the traditional spring and summer weddings. I'm going to get married on something that commemorates strength. They were married until he passed away. And so that's what I did. But I'm telling you, this has been darkness. And then all of the other things that are going on, things that are not lining up the way that I want them and need to expect them. Now, I know based on experience, I know based on just simply how I'm built, that it's all going to work out and take care of. But I'm human. You want it when you want it. You want it when you need it. You want it how you feel it should be. And sometimes it's just not going to happen on your time frame, on your time schedule. It's sometimes you're going to have to trust the process. Sometimes you're going to have to trust that the seed you have planted is going through a gestation period, and that it's going to take some time. Let me explain something to you too, something that I've learned and something that I teach my clients. The more valuable and the more productive the seed, the more that you're expecting from the seed, you're going to have to expect a longer gestation period. Let me explain something to you. The gestation period is from the point you plant it and the nutrients are being drawn in, it's being watered, it's being prepared, and it comes out. See, you plant a rose and it comes out a lot quicker than when you plant the acorn. See, the rose is going to be something that's going to come out and it's going to look beautiful for a while, and then it's going to wither. And then you sit up and you got to wait again, and it'll reproduce another rose in another season, but you got to wait for it. When you plant an acorn, you're talking about producing an oak tree. And when an oak tree is fully grown, it's one of the hardest, densest, and heaviest woods there is. It's considered to be one of the most sturdiest forms of wood there is, and it's anchored deep, and I mean deep into the ground. It withstands winds and a bunch of other things that will uproot the average tree, but it takes time to gestate and come to growth and fruition. And you got to be patient when you've planted an oak tree. If you want something quick and beautiful, then you'll get it, but it's not going to sustain you in the things you need. So you got to understand, when I'm expecting something great, sometimes it's going to be delayed. And this is what I can tell you about delay. It does not mean denial. Delay does not mean denial. At the other side of delay is the breakthrough. Delay is almost always an indicator that you're right on the cusp of something spectacular. You're right on the edge of the breakthrough. You're right on the edge of overcoming. You're right on the edge of rising up. You're right on the edge of doing something exceptional, extraordinary, phenomenal. But you can't quit. You can't be consumed and overcome by what you see, because what you see in the physical sense cannot compare to what can be discerned and seen in the spiritual sense. You need to train your spiritual sight to transcend and overcome your physical sight. Because if you get caught up in seeing everything in the physical, you will be overwhelmed, you will be consumed, you will be beaten up. There's something great on the inside of everyone. The thing is, you've got to birth it out of yourself. You've got to lift it out of yourself. I came to share this with you because I want you to understand, this is not about ease. It's not about perfection. It's not about getting everything right. It's about persistence. It's about consistency. It's about standing firm in what you believe to be true about you, your potential, and what you will do in this world. If you allow yourself to be shaken every time something doesn't go your way, you will be destroyed. You got to stand and believe. You got to hold yourself accountable. Carlos, I'm glad I stopped and looked at this. Um, you ask, what do I think helps people cross over from the mindset of victimhood to victor? It is a changing of the thinking process. It is a systematic, purposeful change from it literally, in everything you do and everything you encounter, you change from a mindset of life is happening to me to life is responding to me. You literally tell yourself, every time you look at something, go, oh my God, you have to catch yourself. You have to change yourself. Thinking is a habit, and you got to change the habit of how you think. If your thinking isn't producing what you want, it is a process like everything else. Literally changing. I do that with my clients. I literally sit up and you start a process every morning. What you wake up and you start out with is going to have a massive impact on how you go through. You start out your day with a day of gratitude. It's amazing. This gratitude thing is amazing. When you have gratitude, at the same time, it's impossible for fear to be present, anxiety to be present, bitterness to be present. All these negative emotions that have these low frequencies and low vibrations that produce negative results can't be present with gratitude. So we're going to start with gratitude. We're going to find a reason to be grateful. And I don't care what you're going through, that's something to be grateful for. You train yourself to be thankful and not look for reasons to complain. See, the one thing that I do not tolerate of myself is complaining. If I can't say something good about a situation, I don't say anything at all. I just simply think I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to change it. And that's the thing. I'm not going to allow the situation to get me to start feeling sorry for myself. And that's huge. But that is something that's built. It's built from a mindset that you train yourself. You catch yourself when you're saying negative things. One thing that I had a problem with in my 20s, right? When my father died, I was 25. And it changed me for a while. I had a negative mindset. I was angry all the time. And my perception of how things were going changed. And I went from things just popping off. Every time I touched something, it happened. Every time I said something was going to happen, I took care of it. I did it. And I was on this roll, and then I lost my grandfather. And then it kind of started to get bumpy, and it got to where almost everything was a fight and a push. And it was like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I didn't realize that I had taken on a negative mindset, and I had started to see things differently. And I talked to my mentor, and within 15 to 20 minutes of talking to him, he said, I can tell you what's wrong right now. And I said, what? And he said, we've been talking 15 to 20 minutes, and already 4 or 5 times you said, I can't win for losing. I had taken on that mindset and not even thought of it. Didn't really give a lot of gravity to when I said it, just expressing how I feel at the moment, didn't realizing it was a mindset and that it was powerful. I've already set up the failure by saying I can't win for losing. I changed it, and my situations changed. And that's the thing. You'll look up and something will be going, you're going like, what in the world? The one thing you can't do is you can't become the victim in the moment when things aren't going your way, because that extends the period of suffering or pain. You have to sit up and say, I'm going to change it. It doesn't mean it's going to change today. It doesn't mean it's going to change in that moment. It means that it's not going to stay the same, that you're going to be the catalyst and the instrument and the power through which your situation is going to change. It's that simple. You have to be strong enough and committed enough to anchor yourself in the belief that you're going to overcome it and refuse to relent. People ask me all the time, I'm going to do this and then I'm done. CJ 737. Getting these kids out from school. Sorry. I'm gonna say this is gonna be done. People ask me if I had one thing that I could say that was the reason that I've been successful in the things that I've done, and they think it's some kind of principle with money. They think it's some kind of natural gift. Yes, I'm a great speaker. Yes, I'm a motivator. Yes, I'm great at inspiring people. Yes, I'm good at studying people and seeing how to help people. I got a lot of things that I'm good at that's tied into this one unique gift of empowering people that really drives me. But that's just the gift. The reason that I've been successful is this one word. This one word. If I had to define myself, I would define myself as relentless. I am relentless. I don't quit. I refuse to give up. I am never considering myself down for the count. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to find a way to make it happen. That's who I am. I'm relentless. And so that's my one word. That's how I define myself. If I had to define myself in one word, it wouldn't be intelligent. It wouldn't be genius. It wouldn't be brilliant. All of these things that I've heard other people use to define me. It would be relentless. When I've been outwitted, I just didn't quit. When I've been outflanked, I just didn't quit. When I've been out thought out, I just don't quit. I'm relentless. I go until I get it. That's my motto. When I make up my mind that I'm going to have something, I'm going to get it or die trying. That's my motto. I am never going to give up. And so that's what I encourage you to do. I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget, if you haven't gotten the books, get them. If you want to work with me, the information is in there. Reach out. Let's do something together. Um, uh, yes, gift and faith. Gift and faith. Walk in your gift and have the faith that it will produce. On that note, I'm out. As I always say, I'm going to live my life on full so that when it's time for me to leave this place, I'm going to down eat. I challenge you to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here.